Imagine taking your car in for a simple checkup, only to stumble upon something concealed within that could expose a shocking conspiracy. That's exactly what happened when a mechanic unearthed a mysterious device hidden inside a police officer's tire, setting off a chain of events involving espionage and betrayal that no one anticipated. Stay tuned to uncover how this startling discovery turned everything upside down. Nestled between neat rows of houses in a quiet town, Philip's auto repair shop was a beacon of reliability. Philip had earned a stellar reputation over the years for his exceptional mechanical skills and unwavering commitment to his work. He was a man of routine, starting each day as the sun peeked over the horizon, opening his shop's doors to customers who trusted him with their vehicles. Philip wasn't just a mechanic to the people of the town. He was a friend, a problem solver, and someone who could be counted on in times of need. One early morning, as the town was still waking up, a police cruiser pulled into the lot. The car was instantly recognizable. It was Officer Marcus, a fixture in the community. But something was off. Philip noticed it right away. Marcus, usually calm and collected, had a troubled expression on his face as he stepped out of the car. "Morning, Philip," Officer Marcus greeted him, his voice lacking its usual cheer. "Morning, officer. You look like you've got something on your mind," Philip replied, wiping his hands on a rag as he walked over to meet him. Marcus nodded, a sigh escaping his lips. "Yeah, there's something wrong with one of my tires. I've been hearing this strange hissing sound for the past couple of days, and it doesn't seem like a typical air leak. I figured it would be better if you took a look." Philip, always eager to help, nodded. "Let's get that car up on the lift and see what's going on." Marcus followed Philip into the garage, his unease growing as they moved closer to the car. Philip's auto repair shop was a familiar place to him, but today the walls seemed to close in around him, amplifying the anxiety he was trying to keep at bay. Philip methodically inspected the vehicle, his experienced eyes scanning every detail. When he reached the problematic tire, he immediately noticed something unusual. The tire didn't just look uneven, it felt different. There was a subtle bulge in the rubber, almost as if something was lodged inside. "Mind if I take the tire off and have a closer look?" Philip asked, glancing up at Marcus. "Please do," Marcus replied, his voice tinged with concern. Philip got to work, removing the tire with the practiced ease of someone who had spent decades working with his hands. But as he started to inspect it more closely, the hissing sound Marcus had mentioned became audible. It wasn't coming from a typical puncture or a leaking valve. It was coming from inside the tire. Philip frowned, his curiosity piqued. He knew tires inside and out, and this was something he'd never encountered before. He decided to cut into the tire, carefully slicing through the rubber until he reached the source of the noise. What he found made his heart skip a beat. A small, intricately designed device was embedded deep within the tire's structure. It was unlike anything he had ever seen before, a piece of technology that seemed out of place in the mundane setting of his auto shop. "What the hell?" Philip muttered under his breath as he carefully extracted the device. It was sleek, with tiny LEDs blinking faintly, as if signaling its presence to anyone who knew where to look. Marcus, who had been watching Philip closely, stepped forward. "What is that?" he asked, his voice low and intense. Philip held the device up, turning it over in his hands. "I'm not sure, but it definitely doesn't belong in a tire. I've seen all kinds of things in tires over the years, nails, screws, even the occasional rock, but nothing like this." Marcus' face grew even more serious. "This doesn't look like anything I've seen before either. We need to figure out what it is and why it was in my tire." Philip nodded in agreement. "I've got a friend who might be able to help. His name's Eddie. He's a whiz with electronics. If anyone can tell us what this thing is, it's him." Marcus didn't hesitate. "Give him a call. The sooner we know what we're dealing with, the better." Philip pulled out his phone and dialed Eddie's number. It rang a few times before Eddie picked up, his voice bright and cheerful. "Philip, long time no talk. What's up?" "Eddie, I've got something here that I need you to take a look at," Philip began, trying to keep his voice steady. "I found a device inside a tire, something electronic. It's strange, and I don't know what it is." There was a brief pause on the other end before Eddie responded, his voice now more serious. "Inside a tire? That's not something you hear every day. Send me some pictures, and I'll see if I can figure out what it is," Eddie said. Philip quickly snapped a few photos of the device and sent them to Eddie. He watched as Marcus paced back and forth, his concern growing with each passing second. The silence from Eddie's end of the line stretched on, the tension in the air thickening. Finally, Eddie spoke again. "Philip, this is serious. We need to meet in person. Bring the device with you." Philip's stomach dropped at Eddie's words. "How serious are we talking?" "Serious enough that I don't want to discuss it over the phone. Can you meet me at my shop in an hour?" "I'll be there," Philip said, hanging up the phone. He turned to Marcus, his face grim. "Eddie wants us to meet him at his shop. He says this could be something big." Marcus didn't need to be told twice. "I'll follow you there." The drive to Eddie's shop was tense. Philip kept glancing in his rearview mirror, half expecting to see someone tailing them. The device, now safely tucked away in a small box on the passenger seat, seemed to radiate an ominous energy, its presence heavy in the confined space of the car. When they arrived at Eddie's electronics shop, the normally bustling storefront was eerily quiet. Eddie was waiting for them outside, his usual smile replaced with a look of concern. "Let's get inside," Eddie said, waving them in. "We need to talk." Eddie's shop was a tech lover's dream. Every inch of the walls was covered in shelves filled with gadgets, tools, and electronic components. The workbench in the center of the room was cluttered with half-finished projects, wires, and circuit boards, a testament to Eddie's passion for his craft. Philip handed Eddie the device, watching as his friend's eyes widened in surprise. "This is no ordinary gadget," Eddie murmured, turning the device over in his hands. "It's high-end, maybe even military-grade. It's designed for tracking and recording, probably remotely." Marcus felt a cold knot form in his stomach. "Why would something like this be in my tire? Am I being watched?" Eddie shrugged, still examining the device. "Could be, or it could be something bigger. Whoever put this there didn't want it to be found, that's for sure. It's well hidden, and if you hadn't heard that hissing sound, you probably wouldn't have noticed it at all." Philip leaned in, his brow furrowed. "So, what do we do now?" Eddie set the device down on the workbench and looked up at them. "First, I'm going to see if I can pull any data off this thing. Maybe we can trace it back to whoever made it. But we need to be careful. If this is military-grade tech, we don't want to trip any alarms." Marcus nodded. "I'll report this to my superiors. If there's someone targeting the police, we need to know who and why." Eddie got to work, carefully connecting the device to his computer. Philip and Marcus watched in silence as lines of code scrolled across the screen, the atmosphere in the room growing heavier with each passing moment. After what felt like hours, Eddie finally leaned back in his chair, rubbing his eyes. "I've managed to access some of the data, but it's encrypted. This is high-level stuff. Whoever set this up knew what they were doing." Marcus frowned. "Can you break the encryption?" Eddie nodded slowly. "I can try, but it's going to take some time. In the meantime, I'd suggest you keep this quiet. If someone's watching, we don't want to tip them off." Philip and Marcus thanked Eddie before returning to the auto shop, the tension palpable as they pondered the mystery that had entered their lives. Once back, Marcus reported the situation to his superiors, triggering an investigation that revealed more hidden devices in police vehicles. As the probe unfolded, it uncovered a network of corruption, with several high-ranking officials arrested for their involvement in sabotaging police operations. The discovery exposed a web of espionage that reached beyond the town, shaking law enforcement at its core. Though Philip returned to his routine at the shop, he felt a deep sense of pride. His quick thinking had played a key role in unraveling a dangerous conspiracy, leaving a lasting mark on the town's history. What had started as a routine check turned into a story of betrayal, danger, and justice, one that would not be forgotten. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumb up and share it with your loved ones. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.